everyone. It's August the 31st, 2017, about 7 a.m. and this is DelReyVAWeather.com. I'm going to do a little video this morning. Uh, you're going to hear a lot of things probably today on Twitter and Facebook on the soon-to-be Hurricane Irma that is developing in the Atlantic. And I want to go through what I'm seeing and why you shouldn't panic. You should wait at least to see what the forecasting is sometime next Monday or Tuesday before necessarily taking any action. Okay, what I have up on the screen is the European model, the 00Z, that's the latest model, set at about 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Saturday night. That's this coming Saturday. Or actually, it's Saturday the 10th. It's a week from this Saturday. Saturday the 10th of September. And what you see down here in the bottom, just actually over Cuba, Florida's here and Cuba's down here, you see Irma. And at that point, it's probably because of the mountains in Cuba, it's probably a Category 2 hurricane about that time. And that's what the European model is, the latest model is saying with respect to with Irma. But the reason why I'm doing this video is I'm sure you're going to have a lot of people showing you the latest GFS, that's the 06Z. And I think you'll see why I'm telling you to be take it with a grain of salt. I think it's a little premature to panic at all. This is set to the same time, September the 10th, or actually it's September the 9th, because it's this is universal time. I have to convert it to Eastern Daylight Time. And this is about 8 p.m. Saturday, September the 9th. It's the same time as I showed you on the European model. And we have Irma here sitting off the South Carolina, North Carolina coast. And if we advance this a little bit, you're going to see it come in to North Carolina and actually go up the Chesapeake Bay or the Maryland Eastern Shore. If this played out, DC would get hurricane force winds out of it. And that's why people are going to start saying all sorts of things today because of this one model run. Let me see if I can switch over to the previous run. I want to show you what the GFS 0Z said. That's the previous run. And if we back this up a little bit, you're going to see that just 6 hours ago, the GFS showed the storm passing off the coast and coming in Maine and into New England. No effect to the DC area. So just in 6 hours, it changed that much. And the Euro model has been very consistent to keep it on South Florida. So, you know, with this, you need to really be very careful in panicking at this point. You need to wait until Monday or Tuesday to see if these models start coming into agreement. And you need to actually look at the National Hurricane Center forecast. Their track cones are really quite accurate. They accurately predicted pretty far in advance the track of Harvey. And while the individual models didn't do a very good job. And also, if you look at the Euro EPS, that's the ensemble version of the euro, you will see that all of those ensembles focus, most of them, I shouldn't say all, focus on South Florida. So I mean, if you have interest in South Florida, you might want to start taking some preparations for a hurricane in the September 9th or 10th area. But if you're up in the DC area, I definitely would hold off doing anything until Monday or Tuesday. All right, I want to show you one other thing. There's a hurricane model that I follow, HWRF, and we do Irma. Okay, and this is what we have on Irma. And unfortunately, this only goes out to September the 3rd. So it definitely is showing a category 3 or 4 potential. Let me see if I can switch this over to the, yeah, this is better. Okay. It's showing a maximum wind of about 95 knots out at Saturday, the 2nd. That's this coming Saturday. This is way out in the ocean at that point. And 95 knots is a margin just below the category 3 threshold. So I think there is definitely a potential for this to grow to a category 3 or a category 4. There is a non-zero probability that it would develop to a Cat 5, and depending upon its track, it's a possibility that it could eventually get to a Cat 5, before probably maybe late next week, if it's going to get to a Cat 5. Let me show you this current storms, Irma. Okay. Now this graph is driven off of the GFS, and as a result, it has some of the flaws in it. With Harvey, it underestimated the intensity all along by about 1 category. So again, this is showing one member of this ensemble going into Cat 5, a couple of the ensembles going into a low Cat 4, and most of them in the Cat 3 area. The interesting thing is this is divergent from the previous run. That was the 18Z actually, and it shows more possibility of it not even getting to a Cat 2 or remaining at a Cat 2. So again, the GFS is just beyond where it's at all accurate. I know there's another YouTube video that shows wind speeds at an altitude of 1,500 meters. It's about 5,000 feet, and that's really not the altitude that the Weather Service determines what category this storm is. That's flight level wind. So what they do is they use radiosones. They drop through the storm and measure near surface winds, and that's what actually establishes what the category wind speed is for a hurricane. So you need to take, if you see a YouTube video out there that's, the gloom and doom, going to have definitely going to have a Cat 5, is going to hit the East Coast, you need to take that with a grain of salt right now. You need to wait at least until Monday, and probably to be safer Tuesday. And in any event, we're talking about a potential landfall that would be in the September 9th, 10th period. So even if you wait until Tuesday, there would be plenty of time to do any preparations you need to do. Okay, let me See if I can go back here. Yep. Okay, I'm going to leave it there right now. I should point out this is the latest official forecast for Irma, and right now they have it up to Tuesday. It's about all you can say as far as a track goes right now, and the National Weather Service, the National Hurricane Center, actually has Irma a major hurricane. That means a Cat 3 uh, as of Tuesday. Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave it there. If you have any questions, just give me a tweet at PatPend, that's PATPEND on Twitter, and I'll try and answer them. Thanks a lot.